Today is probably my favorite video of the summer. Today we're going to be talking about my top 36 running backs for 2023. These guys are the heart and soul of your fantasy team. I want to explain why and where I'm drafting these guys at. Let's go. So once again, the same thing I do with my wide receivers. I'm not ranking these guys from 1 to 36. That's too easy. I'm ranking them in tiers and where I feel comfortable drafting these guys. So without further ado, let's get started. My first tier, this is the league winning tier. And we all know who these guys are. Austin Eckler and CMC. There's not much I can say about these guys. It's already haven't been said, but I'm going to put my little twist on it. So once again, Austin Eckler, CMC, I have no issues with them going 1 and 2. I don't care who would you rather, CMC or Austin Eckler. I think you're getting bona fide all-stars regardless of which one you get. You could say they're small, very, very tiny, pin size, the size of mini-me, question marks with both of these guys. Was Austin Eckler. The reason why he's been propelled into all-star status these last handful of years has been the targets. And obviously, that's going to get a bump up in the offense this year with Kellen Moore. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot more. But in that offense, they're probably going to be pushing it downfield a lot more. So that means less checkdowns to Austin Eckler. You obviously drafted Quentin Johnson. You still got Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. They're going to be pushing the ball down the field. So is he going to be getting those, 100 to 120 targets? Once again, very tiny question mark, but he still has very little bust potential aside from injury. CMC, he should be undoubtedly the number one running back every single year because we've seen him do it. We've seen him stay healthy last year. Everyone's going to say, oh, he's injury prone. I'm not buying that. He stayed healthy last year on 2 different teams. He played every single game last year, despite being traded from Carolina to San Francisco. And a lot of people might say, how can he be in a better position in Carolina? How can he get to a better position from Carolina when he was the bell cow? You're getting, 25 to 30 opportunities a game. They went to probably the top offense in the NFL for running backs. I understand he's going to be splitting time with Elijah Mitchell, but his efficiency is through the roof. He doesn't need to get 30 opportunities. If he get 20 with his efficiency, once again, he's going to be a top running back in the NFL. Not only in the NFL, but for fantasy football. And that's what we really care about. There shouldn't be any doubt 1 and 2 for these guys. I'm not really a fan of the receivers at the top, couple spots. I want my running backs. Let's go down to the next tier. This is the best of the rest. These are the guys that if you don't have a top 2 pick, that's okay. These guys here have the potential to finish as the RB1. And that's Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Nick Chubb. Saquon Barkley, we've seen him do what he can do the rookie year. And every year that he hasn't been hurt, he's been perfectly fine. The offense, obviously seems to struggle a little bit at times, but Saquon Barkley is the entire offense. He wasn't happy in the offseason. They made him sign a franchise tag, and they gave him a couple more incentives just so he can come play. But obviously, we don't think that the New York Giants' long-term future is involving Saquon, so they're going to run him into the ground and use him to the best of his ability in this year. And that's what we want for fantasy football. We want opportunities. And once again, he's the best, not only athlete, but the best player on that team. So you're going to get him touches everywhere on the field, and he's going to dominate in those touches. Same thing with Josh Jacobs. I understand he hasn't reported yet to the Raiders. And, once again, maybe being a Raiders fan, that's kind of leaving me a little worried, just a little bit. But I'm not overly too concerned. I think he's going to be back for week 1. He probably just doesn't want to put the wear and tear on his body through training camp. He understands the playbook. He was a leading rusher in the NFL last year. There's not much you can improve on that. So it's kind of hard for them to give them incentives to bring him back. But I think he really has no choice but to sign him. And what he's going to do, he can sit out and not play. I doubt he's going to do that. He's going to be back, and he's going to be a top 5 back once again. Between Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, this offense was going to be hitting on all cylinders once again. With Kareem Hunt leaving, not only is Nick Chubb in soon for 1,500 yards rushing, but he's going to be getting multiple targets, and that's what we wanted. From the time that Nick Chubb came into the league, we've said that he's been a Derrick Henry light. Well, at least I have. I can't speak for everyone else. I've constantly said that Nick Chubb is a Derrick Henry light. You know what you're going to get on the rushing, and he's going to sprinkle in a couple of targets. If he can give you 1,500 yards and 30 to 40 to 50 targets, he's going to be a top 5 back. It's easy, once again. And if he converts on those targets, if Deshaun Watson makes the offense a little bit better, he has the potential to be a number 1 running back. Once again, with these guys, if you don't have a top 2 pick, that's okay. These guys have top 1 potential. And my next tier, this is the question mark tier. These guys could easily finish top 5 at the position, but they do have some small question marks. And that's Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard, and Derrick Henry. With Jonathan Taylor, he's obviously not happy in Indianapolis. He could get traded at any time in the season. That's really the big question mark with him. Is he healthy? Is his ankle still hurting? Is his back still hurting? Is he going to get traded? How's the offense going to look with a rookie quarterback? And you got some question marks, but at the end of the day, we could look at the end of the season and look back and say, why didn't we believe in Jonathan Taylor? He's a stout running back. Bijan Robinson, look, I understand the hype is there. It was with Zeke, it was with Saquon, and they're saying he's even better than those guys. But at the end of the day, he's still a rookie. We need to see it before we can go and crown him the top running back in fantasy football. I need to see, something before I can feel very confident picking him with a top 2 or 3 pick. But once again, he's a top 5 running back in my eyes. We don't know how the offense is going to look. There was a top rushing offense last year. What is Desmond Ritter? We didn't. Marcus Mariota wasn't really worth anything. He wasn't worth a velvet painting of a dog and a whale getting it on. But at the same time, is Desmond Ritter going to be anything better? We don't know. Tony Pollard, the question mark with him is he going to be a workhorse? Yes, he finishes a top 6, top 7 running back last year. Now it's with Zeke getting, over 200 opportunities. But are they going to hand over the keys to the offense, or is they going to split carries with someone else and give someone else the bulk of not only the red zone look, goal line work, is someone else going to get 200 carries? We need Tony Pollard to be a Austin Eckler like, and that's what I look at him as, top echelons of running backs. If he can get the Austin Eckler treatment where he's going to get 200 carries and close to 100 targets, he's going to be in that top tier, and he has the potential to finish as a top 5 running back. And with Derrick Henry, obviously it's the same question every year: when is he going to fall off? We haven't seen a running back get this many touches, over the age of 30 and just constantly produce. When is he going to fall off? It's going to happen, but when? Is it going to be this year? That's a chance you're going to take. But at the end of the day, there's not many running backs, if any, that's going to give you 20 carries on the ground every single game. So feel safe with Derrick Henry for the time being. My next tier is a saddle up tier. These are my workhorse running backs that have high potential, very high ceilings, and very high floors. And you can get these guys in the second and third round. Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, Alexander Mattison, Najee Harris, Alvin Kamara, Ken Walker, and Cam Akers. And I would feel very easily comfortable drafting these guys in my second and third rounds. Joe Mixon, once again, he's a top running back, workhorse back, and one of the top offenses in the NFL. I'm not sure why he's sliding in certain situations and certain platforms to the, third, fourth, fifth round. He really should be a top 10 running back. And if you can get him as your RB3, RB2 even, I feel perfectly confident with that. Aaron Jones, we don't know how the Green Bay offense is going to look, but at the same time, Aaron Jones is constantly disrespected every year. He constantly outperforms his ADP. He's going to be lined with volume on the floor and through the air. I understand, they have Christian Watson, but this is Aaron Jones' team as a running back position, and I don't trust AJ Dillon to really give up any work other than goal line work. But Aaron Jones has proven he can be productive without the goal line work. Travis Etienne, yes, they drafted Tank Bigsby, but I'm not really worried about him. He doesn't have to be a 300 touch guy to be valuable in fantasy football. He wasn't that last year, and he still finished as a top 15 back. Not only do I believe in him as a talent, but I believe in the Jacksonville offense to take another step forward. So what do you want in fantasy football? You want a running back on the top offense. That's Travis Etienne. Speaking of a running back in the top offense that's disrespected, why are we letting Alexander Mattison slip into the 4th and 5th round? I'm not saying he's Dalvin Cook. I'm not saying he should be drafted in the 1st round, but 4th or 5th round, why? He's going to get the workhorse. They didn't bring anyone in. Doesn't look like they're signing anyone. This is the Alexander Mattison team. They want to see what he has. They've seen him in a backup role for multiple years. They want to see him as a workhorse. And once again, Kirk Cousins has his targets he like to lock onto. I get it. TJ Hockenson, I get it. Justin Jefferson, I get it. They signed Jordan Addison. But Alexander Mattison is definitely going to be getting a handful of targets in this offense, and he has a workhorse role. He's a 3-down back with the goal line work. I do trust this offense to be good, so I trust Alexander Mattison to be good. Najee Harris, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of Najee Harris, but there's just very limited options at the running back position that really has 300 touch potential, and Najee Harris is it. If the Pittsburgh offense takes a step forward, he's going to be a lot better than last year. He was disappointed because of where he drafted. He wasn't a terrible running back. He was top 36, but where you drafted him at, you were disappointed. But now when you're getting him at a discount, 300 touch potential, once again, I'm not gonna sit and say he's my favorite pick, but if I can get him as maybe my 3rd running back, I'm fine with that. Ken Walker, same thing with the Travis Etienne. He's kind of in the same tier where he had an outstanding rookie year and they drafted a rookie, so he's plummeting his value. But Ken Walker is that man, and we've seen in Seattle that they trust their number 1 running back. We've seen it with Chris Carson. We've seen it with Rashad Penny. We're still going to see it with Ken Walker. Regardless of who they draft in the 1st or 2nd round, they have a number 1 running back, and they're going to use him until they can't anymore. Ken Walker is in line for 250 touches, and with his efficiency, and once again, the Seattle offense is going to be very good this year. I trust Ken Walker, and I wouldn't be mad at having him as one of my RB1s. Cam Akers, he finished the year, the last couple games, he was on pace to be the RB1. I'm not saying he's going to be the RB1 this year, but what I'm saying is, as a workhorse, you have nobody behind him to take away touches. You have no other running backs who's going to take away touches from Cam Akers. This is not only his offense, but he is going to get the goal line work. He might be in line for 40 to 50 targets at best. So I understand that. And some people might not trust the Rams offense. Matthew Stafford is healthy. Cooper Kupp is going to be healthy by the time the season starts. So I do trust his offense to be a lot better than last year, as long as there's no injuries involved. Cam Akers from day one is going to get the workhorse role. So I'm perfectly fine with having him as my, RB2, RB3. Where you're drafting him at, you don't have to make a strong decision on him. He's going to be your RB2, RB3. And with Alvin Kamara, yes, he's going to be suspended for the first couple games of the season, first 3 games. Derek Carr is the check down king. Since he came into the league in 2014, he's been top 5 in check down percentage. And that's where Alvin Kamara makes his mark at. We've seen the first couple of years of his career where he was getting 81 catches a year. He started to plummet the last few years, so he's been disrespected. And as far as the ADP goes, but he should be a top running back still in this offense. The Saints offense is a lot better than what people think. And once again, if Alvin Kamara is getting, close to 100 targets in this offense, he's going to be a top 10 running back. And I think the discount that you're getting where he's at because of the 3-game suspension, I'm taking that every single time. My next tier is called something to prove. The proof is in the pudding. These running backs have something to prove. What else more can I say? And that's guys like Jamar Gibbs, James Conner, Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins, Rachaad White, Dameon Pierce. And I'm going to lump the Jets and the Patriots running backs together, Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, Zeke and Ramondre Stevenson. Once again, something to prove. With the Jets offense, Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, who is going to be the workhorse back? Obviously, they love Breece Hall and they want to, get him back into the game slowly. They don't want to rush him into 20. They don't want to rush him back into 20 touches, and that's understandably why they would bring in someone who can, hold on to the offense for the first couple of games. They have Michael Carter, but they don't trust him. But bringing in a decent running back to hold on until Breece Hall gets back is a lot different than bringing in a top 5 running back in Dalvin Cook. Aaron Rodgers preached for Dalvin Cook, so are they going to keep Dalvin Cook on the field to make Aaron Rodgers happy, or are they going to want to, have to put back in Breece Hall, see what they have? They're going to work him in slowly. These guys are being drafted as a top 20 running back, top 20, top 25, and I just don't see either one of them having immense value on a week-to-week basis. They're each going to have their blow-up games, but you're not going to be confident in starting them every single week, and I feel the same way about the Patriots. I love Zeke. I love Ramondre Stevenson. I think that both guys as an NFL tandem is going to be very good. You got your Thunder, you got your Lightning. But for fantasy football, we're not going to know which one to start on a week-to-week basis. And again, where these guys are being drafted at, you're having to choose between a lot of players with workhorse value. I just don't trust. I trust the offense and I trust the players. I just don't trust them on a week-to-week basis for fantasy football, unfortunately. So for those reasons, I'm out. Dameon Pierce has the workhorse role locked down in the Texans. Yes, they signed Devin Singletary, but I mean, if he wasn't good in the Bills offense, he's not going to be good in this Texans offense. If I said Nick Chubb is a Derrick Henry light, Dameon Pierce is a Nick Chubb light times 2. He's going to get the workhorse volume on the ground, but he gets very limited targets. And in a struggling offense with a rookie quarterback, how good is that going to be for fantasy football? Rachaad White, once again, he's going to get the workhorse role in Tampa Bay, but in a struggling offense, what good is that going to be? Does he get the target volume? I do believe. Do I believe in Baker Mayfield? I believe in him to, carry guys like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans to launch the ball downfield. But as far as being a check down king, I'm not really sure what Baker Mayfield is going to do. And Rachaad White, where he's being drafted at, I definitely think he has high upside potential because he has a workhorse role in the later rounds. But there is something to prove. Can he be the workhorse? We'll find out this year. J.K. Dobbins, is he healthy? We don't know. That's something he has to prove. And is he going to flourish in this new offense? He has flourished back in the past because they've been a run-first offense, but everything we've been hearing and seeing from camp is they're going to be more of a pass-heavy offense this year. Does that benefit guys like J.K. Dobbins with limited target potential? I don't think so. But where you're going to get him at in fantasy football drafts, he's going to be a lock for, 12 to 15 carries a game. And in this offense, I think that's very beneficial. He is the goal line back also. I don't trust Gus Edwards. I don't really care about Melvin Gordon. He's like 45 at this point. J.K. Dobbins is the running back you want from this offense and in this backfield. Miles Sanders got the bag this year for Carolina, so they want to use him to get the money's worth. And he's very good in the Eagles. He was very good for the Eagles last year. He's been very good for the Eagles in his career. But the Eagles offense is completely different than the Carolina offense. We've seen them struggle not only in the preseason, but in general. New quarterback, new regime, new coaching staff. Do we trust a rookie quarterback to project a top 15 running back? We've seen it done before, but Miles Sanders definitely has something to prove in this offense. James Conner has something to prove because, yes, he's going to be the workhorse running back. We've seen him, be on pace for 100 targets when he's only got in the backfield. We've seen what happened when they got rid of Chase Edmonds or when Chase Edmonds hasn't been there. James Conner can definitely have the workhorse role as far as the ground, but it definitely has, 80 to 85 target potential. So I do like that way he's going in there. But this offense definitely has something to prove. And with Jahmyr Gibbs, if Bijan Robinson didn't come out last year, I think Jamar Gibbs would obviously be the #1 running back as far as rookie goes, but he wasn't. And yes, he's going to be in Detroit. And the Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift role last year was very impactful. And I think David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs is a lot better than that tandem. But at the same time, where he's being drafted at, I want to give some pushback. He's being drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. Much rather have guys that I know is going to get return value. Jamar Gibbs definitely has upside. He could be a top 5 running back if he gets the rushing and receiving ability. And God forbid if David Montgomery goes down, he's probably going to be looked at as a top 5 back. But once again, I need to see it. He has something to prove. This next tier is the sneaky upside tier. The reason why I say that is obviously because they have sneaky upside. They're volume running backs that can be flexed without consideration. And that's guys like Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson, David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, and James Cook. James Cook seems to be in line for the Bills offense. He's going to have the receiving ability, but does he have the rushing ability? We don't know. Jerick McKinnon obviously is the receiving back out of the backfield for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a valuable role in fantasy football. And my last tier, but not least, is the high upside handcuff tier. And that's pretty much what it's called. So that's Damian Harris, Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, AJ Dillon, Jamal Williams, and Brian Robinson. These guys don't have a hold on the backfield right now, but all it takes is one injury for these guys to be a workhorse role. Thanks for tuning in, and those are my top 36 running backs. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. Remember, subscribe to see more content from me and everyone here at Just in Time Media.